think back, people, you'll remember that on the news around this time when Oliver Meekers here in 2003 discovered this new spot, you'll remember, if you think back, it was all in the news that they found this thing on Jupiter. There it is. It's right in the center of the screen. I didn't outline it, but right that black spot right in the center of the screen. You remember it on the news, but, you know, it's rarely seen. If you think back, you remember there was reports in the news. They crashed it into Jupiter. They didn't succeed, but it left that big black mark there. Anyway, this is explaining why they're doing this. They want to make a second star in the sky. Why? It's the answer to any question when you go, why does somebody do something? The answer is because they can. That's why. Why are they making another star? It doesn't make sense to me. It's not supposed to make sense to you. You're just, you know, to the sheep. They're just sheep. Nothing's going to make sense to them. But they want to make a second star, you know? Why draw a circle? Why drink a beer? Why light a fire? Because you can. So they're making a star because they figured out they can do it. But they want to separate themselves. They want to evolve. And by making a star, they're going to evolve. And what they're going to do, and what I'm showing here, is that they're going to change themselves away, as I just showed a dog, a wolf separated from the dog, by leaving the rest of humanity behind. They're going to, by making the star, they're proving to themselves that you are subhumans and they are gods. So it's just an evolution to them. Okay? This is a man, and there's an ape. They came, the ape left, evolved and left the man behind. And then you have these helpless, stupid, hairy ape. That's what they're doing basically by creating a star. Now you're the stupid, hairy ape, and they're gonna be the gods by creating the second star. Okay? Now, this is showing how they just show it all in plain sight, the planes. 2001, what was the point of that? You watch the movie, it doesn't make any sense to you. They're like, oh man, 2000 was weird, those movies were weird. Why were they weird? Because it was a code. They're telling you what they're doing. You remember in 2001, it didn't make any sense, of course. But in the end of the movie, what was it? It was a little kid in the stars. Okay, so there you have it. There's the baby in the stars from 2001. That was the star child. Okay, if you remember in 2002, what did they do? They blew up Jupiter to create a second star. If you follow any of the 2001 Arthur C. Clarke, he was a Mason, and that's the manifesto, that's the plan of creating a star. It's written. Okay, it's all out there. Read all of the books if you want to know what their plan is. This is talking about the sheep. Sheep can't deal with responsibility. That's why we have politicians. They think that they're God. So here we have a picture of Barack Obama and a few other politicians that are supposed to take all the scary things of life, responsibility, death, embarrassment, disease, and make it all happy and fair for them, which is not reality. You look at reality, look at the animals, it's crazy, it's wild, it's survival of the fittest. There's no such thing as fair. But the people, these sheeple, will look to these politicians and look at their faces. Just look at them. They're like, God, Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama, you're my favorite. You're my God. You know, look at these people. They're like, oh, yes, he's going to make our lives happy. He's going to lower taxes and clean up the environment and crime and everything's going to be fine. Here's my vote. Yes, you're going to make it all happy. Look at them. They're out of control. They're like, yay, you're my hero. Yes, clap, clap, clap. You're going to make everything better for me. My life is going to be better. I can't take responsibility for my life, but thank God you're there, oh one human being, to somehow make everything magical for me. And these sheep, look at them, give power to these people because they are helpless, like this goddamn ape right here. You can't give power to someone else. It doesn't work that way. They're not going to make anything better for you. They're liars. That's why politicians are sneaky and they look like liars, because they're lying, because the sheep there, the audience, are asking them to lie for them. In other words, like Cooper says, they're asking for impossible things, so they'll get impossible things in the form of ridiculous lies from politicians, because that's what the sheep ask for. Actually, Cooper said, it's in his book, in the first chapter, Silent Weapons for Secret Wars. Anyway, back to space. This is Titan 4 launched in the middle of the night. This is try number 2. They're gonna shoot this one into Saturn. Why? It's a smaller planet and it's a bigger bomb. Back to the scientific evidence for the people that need it. Okay? Titan 4 again, it's named cryptically, look up Titan and why it's named that if you wanna know. But anyway, this is scrolling on the bottom is a report from CNN to show that this is before 9/11 when people had guts and people protested and they weren't shock tested into complete fear and slavery to the government, unquestioning docileness. This is back when people protested, before 9/11. People would say, hey, no. And that was before free speech zones and all that crap, the Nazi Germany crap that went. So anyway, this is showing that people did protest this bomb that they're sending into space. Well, what I want to make clear here is that all of the spacecraft was powered by solar power and then sent off into deep space. But now with Galileo and Cassini, they're powered by plutonium, which is a bomb. Not grams, which make up Nagasaki and Hiroshima, but pounds of plutonium. Ridiculous amounts of plutonium. So here they are getting arrested. Of course, again, we have pictures of police arresting dangerous old ladies, who want to protest. But, when you're sending a bomb to space, you gotta protect that, because you're trying to, so you've got no nukes in space. They're protesting the obvious bomb that they're launching into space. It's real, there it is. And the details are at the bottom, and they arrest a bunch of people for, sending this bomb into space. It's a bigger bomb than a smaller planet. The idea is try number 2 and to blow it up to make a star. Very simple. So, in 2004, it actually entered orbit around Saturn. And NASA had on the site that they were going to send it, into the planet on 7708. Because of this video, they removed it. Now they don't talk about when the mission ends. For obvious reasons. The cat's out of that, blah, blah, blah. So here's some nice pictures, of what Cassini looks like. The big bomb orbiting Saturn. And it has some cameras in it that take some pictures and listen for, signals and whatever's coming out of transmissions of Saturn. And there it is. So here's another important fact that people don't understand. People do not like the fact that they can be tricked. People can't understand that, and people get angry. The sheep get angry. They can fathom, again, that a bully will come up to them and physically tear them apart. A gorilla, a tiger, a big man, a guy with a gun. They can handle that, but they can't handle being tricked. They will not accept that another human being can trick them. And tricks go on all the time. And I give some examples here that, again, you can be tricked, you can be physically defeated, but not mentally tricked. But people are tricked all the time. Again, with politics, you're tricked into believing in Democrat, Republicans are the same thing. You're tricked into believing in an invisible God. You're tricked into fighting in wars. You're tricked into believing that paper, now look at foreign paper, it looks silly because it's just paper. It looks silly when you look at foreign money because it's paper. Tricked into believing that terrorists are, tricked into believing that you're in control of your own life. And here they are like little ants in a farm, you're under control. But you're tricked. And since humans don't like accepting that they are mentally tricked, they allow themselves to become enslaved and tricked because they can't fathom it. They're too proud to admit that their minds are weak things that can be manipulated. And they are manipulated. This is one of a famous scene everybody likes to see. This is an actual college student here explaining, she's in grad school, she doesn't know.
Weaker people, kill them off today. Yes, that's what your government will should they say. Kill the people. Kill the people. They don't ever pay their way. They sit on the welfare road. And we're tired of carrying the dead weight. So you will see in the end, don't listen to me.